So we meet again with Panno here, right?
Yeah, Panno was, as I told you before, the leading Argentinian grandmaster, together with Najdorf, of course. And we played this game at the Interzonal in Manila in '76. He tried one of his main variations, the Philidor for black, E5, knight f3, d6, d4, and now knight f6. Well, the alternative was knight d7 immediately, but knight f6 is okay. Knight f6, knight c3, and now knight bd7. Okay, bishop c4, the main line again. This is the main line. Bishop c4, bishop e7, castle, castle. Okay, a4, c6, queen e2. Well, a small initiative at a small edge for white. In any case, white is always a little bit better. Not much, but it's a little bit, some advantage for white and more pleasant game for white in any case. This was a little bit provocative to take in d4 because he wants to open the game and has some counterplay on the e file. But we'll see, this is very unpleasant later on. Black will have many problems.
To activate this
the rook, on the e line, but has no type. So, okay, bishop f8. We play queen f3, very good move. Now we provoke black to play himself knight e5, and after knight e5, we come back with our queen to d1. Okay, this is a little bit unusual. This order of moves, move order, queen e2, queen f3, queen d1. But it gives a clear advantage for white. Because he has the open diagonal for the bishop from a2. Yes. He has the possibility to push very quickly f4, very strong initiative on the king side. And the black pieces will have some problems where to,
to
stay with his pieces in any defensive position, because it's clear that white will attack from now on, you see.
And I guess the vulnerability is the f7?
This is some possibility later on, not immediate, because you can't sacrifice, you don't win with one piece, you give the bishop. But you have some possibility to, to have a very, very good attacking position later on in a few moves, yeah.
Okay.
So he played knight f7, now f4 very quickly, knight g7, knight g6, knight f3. Now we have a clear threat. We threaten already knight g5. And if we have time to play knight g5, the position was already winning for white, because you have no defense, or f7, you see?
Yeah.
So bishop e7 is forced, no? King h1. You the move, but what to move? Yeah, you have to move something.
So this is like waiting move?
Yeah, waiting move, a very good one, because it's against the threat, queen b6 check and so on.
Yes.
And the king is okay in h1, and now you the move. In any position, you have the possibility to go wrong. If you don't go wrong, you have to accept the fact that you have a, unpleasant position. And you have to accept the fact that you have to move the two knights in f8 and in h8. You'll see later on. The only defense.
Yes.
Because otherwise it's already very unpleasant for black, if not lost already.
Okay.
So queen c7. Okay, he waits also. Bishop e3. b6. Again, he's waiting. Okay. And now on queen e2. Now we threaten already, if he doesn't do bishop f6, we threaten queen c4 winning. Why? Yeah. Because we threaten already to take in f7, and after rook f8, we had the move knight d5 or knight b5 winning. You see?
And
the idea was queen c4. Let's say we have to move here.
Yes.
Queen c4.
Here, queen c4,
queen
yes.
c4. What to do? Rook to f8, no?
Yes.
Because after rook e7, you resign immediately. After knight d5, you lose immediately in one move.
Knight d5?
Knight d5. You can't take because you lose the queen.
Yes.
Yeah, so you have to move the rook only in f8. And after rook f8, you can win with white with knight d5 or with knight b5. Immediate winning, Yeah. So, okay, this is the idea.
Yes.
So, okay, he played bishop f6, hoping that he can resist, So knight g5, also very strong move. Knight h8, you see, he threatens to, is the only defense of f7, So now queen h5, again we threaten there, and knight f8. Well, for the moment, is no mate, is no immediate attack. You don't win in a few moves. But the position is already very unpleasant for black.
Yes.
Very unpleasant.
The knights are, looks like...
Yeah, it's a very unpleasant defense for black.
Yeah.
Everything is forced.
But right now, you have 3 attacks here. But
yeah, I have 3 attacks. And now on, we have a very unpleasant position for black again, because everything is forced, and he had in any case to find the only moves. Yeah. For instance, now, if he doesn't take in e5 and plays g6, after g6 he resigns in a few moves. g6, knight e4 check, and resigns. No, knight c3 to e4, and the position is completely lost for black.
Even if he takes here?
If he takes, knight takes f6 check, and he loses everything with check. Knight takes e8 check, the rook, and then he loses also the queen. Everything with check.
Yes. Yeah.
So, as I told you before, he has to find the only moves after e5. The only move is to take in g5. Yeah. So now we took there with the queen, of course, and queen e7, the best defense. He has, fortunately for black, he has this defense because you can't take immediately the pawn from d6. Now, if you take in e7, he takes with the rook, and you can't take the d6 pawn because you lose the bishop. From
the bishop is hanging.
Yeah. So now what to do with white? If you go back, black can hope to, to resist somehow.
Yeah.
But again, the game is very unpleasant because now we transpose from a direct threat, we threatened to win in a few moves tactically before. Now we move queen takes e7, and we try to win, some other kind of position by playing strategically. And we sacrifice a pawn for a very strong initiative with white. So now knight e4. So again, what can black do? He's forced to take in e5 because if he played d5 after knight d6, he's completely hopeless. So now f5. Okay, we gave a pawn, but look at the position. What can he do? Every piece has a very sad position, let's say, the knight from h8 is terrible, Okay, yes. He has a pawn. But the bishop from c8 didn't play until now. The rook from a8 didn't play until now. Now we threaten in some kind of position to play f6, in some other kind of position to play rook a d1. In any position, he's hopeless. So again, he has to find the only way to resist is to give the exchange for black. Well, he found this idea. He plays later on rook d5. He wants to give the exchange. And have some, some counterplay. So again, you play rook g3, very good. Now you can't take in d5 because he's mate in f5 because he's mate in f6. Threatens mate in 1.
Yes, so he cannot take here.
No,
because you
knight
have
f6 mate.
Mate.
Yeah. So what to do? Knight d7, the only move again. So okay, bishop h6. Again, g6 is forced because if he doesn't play g6, he loses in 2-3 moves. Yeah. Okay, g6, and now we take the exchange. He has to take. No. We play knight d6 again. Zugzwang. Nothing to play. He has exchange down.
Yes.
Has one pawn for exchange, but it's not enough because the whole position is very sad for black. He has no counterplay at all, and all white pieces are coming from everywhere. Like this. Everything is forced. Now d6, knight d6. Okay, so f6, the only move again. F6. So now rook c3, we threaten the piece.
Yeah.
Again, the only move, knight f7. If he played bishop a6, after rook c7 resigns. instead of knight f7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So knight f7. So now again everything is forced. We took his check. He took there. Now we took in g6, and this is the best move. It was also possible to take in a7, but it was a little bit longer. It's always better to take the central pawn. So we took in e7 check, and now we took the pawn. And now every endgame is completely losing for black. It's completely lost.
Why?
Because exchange.
It's an exchange.
Rook against knight.
Yes.
So the only way, b5, a6 very strong, knight d4, and now we attack the pawn. Now if he takes, for instance, in c2, after rook takes in b5 and later on rook b7 resigns in a few moves.
Yeah.
So he played knight b8, the only move. Knight b4, we don't give the pawn from a6, of course. And now he has to do something. He played e4. Now c3. If he moves the knight, has to move the knight, he loses the pawn from b5, of course. So now we took there, he took, rook takes b5.
And he resigned here.
He resigned, because now it's clear. Why? It's rook against knight. We attack also later. The pawn from e4 is not dangerous because we can control everything with king g1. No? E3,
Yes.
king g1 wins in every position very quickly. And we threaten also here rook c5 winning or rook b7 check and b4. And after b4, we threaten b5 and everything is clear. No? We have rook and 2 pawns against knight, completely winning.
Yeah.
So strategically, probably is one of the best games of the Interzonal Tournament of Manila. Anyway, the game was, mentioned by the ex-world champion Spassky as, in his opinion, was anyway one of the most important strategical games from the whole tournament. And this is very, very pleasant to hear such a thing, from Spassky.
Yes, yes. Nice.
No, but the game was very good. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
So it's a kind of attack which is a little bit unusual, you see. First of all, you want to win by force in a few moves. If it's not possible, you come back to the strategical play,
Yeah.
So, and there, the advantage is clear. And later on, when we win a pawn or something with the exchange, you come back to the tactical way. And in a such way.
Yeah, in a way, sometimes I think it's disappointing to have like a strong tactical attack.
Yeah, it's very important because chess is always a mixture from tactics and strategy and strategical play, And you have to play well both of them. And if you play well both of them, usually you are very strong grandmaster.
And also to know when to apply what.
Of course, yes. But this is the highest level in chess, Panno was also a very important grandmaster in that time, between the best in the world,
All right. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.